Condo sales are down 22% year over year. That's GTA wide. In Toronto alone, they're down 17%. And in the 905, they're down 30%. Here we have the numbers for all property types in terms of sales and prices. And of course, we have the detached number semi-townhome. However, these are the condo figures that I'm specifically referring to. Only 1,225 sales for condos GTA wide. That's 22% down. That is very little. And the majority of that was Toronto, with only 830 condo sales in February of 2025, of course. These are some really historical low figures we're dealing with, putting aside the fact that we're seeing 15+% declines. But as you guys saw from that previous chart, the numbers when it comes to prices is a little bit more of a mixed bag, but really even in this mixed bag situation, it's more bad than good. Let's quickly take a look at GTA condo prices on a month-over-month basis, majority of which is obviously accounted for by the city of Toronto, and contrast it with detached homes and all property types. Before we get into that though, hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate. You already know what to do. Welcome to the channel. My link is in the description for any buying, selling, leasing inquiries, but let's not waste any more time. Subscribe if you find this content informative. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to looking at condo prices. All right, here we have my, really rudimentary sheets, but I used to keep track of prices on a month-over-month basis. Let's go all the way back to February 2023. The average sold price for all condos across all areas in the GTA was $705,000, as you guys can see there. Well, in February of 2024, now that we have February 2024 here, the average dropped to $695,000. Month over month, this was at a time a near 2% increase in February 2024, but year over year prices were down 1.4%. This is not to even address the fact that in February 2023, when the average came in at 705, at that time prices that were down 11%. Because the previous February of 2022 was an all-time peak market for all property types. And now we see the average sold price across all areas in condos, and this is obviously a 2.5% increase month over month comparing to January of 2025 at 670. But when we just simply do this, we see that once again, year over year, it's another decline of a modest amount, to be fair, 1%. Now, when we compare and contrast this to all home types or detached, it looks a bit different. Here we have the all home types, columns, and we see, for instance, across the market, the average sold price came in at $1,084,000. This represented a 2% decline year over year, because in February of 2024, the average sold price was $1.108, which was a 1% increase year over year. So we see more fluctuations, a percent here, a percent there, a percent up, a couple of percent down for all home types. For condos, it has been a precipitous decline on a year over year basis. Of course, month over month, as you guys just saw, there was some green there. So seasonality still applies, no question about that. And that's something I've been adamant about. But really, the most resilient property has been the detached home, because the detached homes in the most recent month, February 2025, came in at $1,445,000. That is a obvious 5% increase month over month from the 1.377 in January of 2025. However, year over year, this was up barely anything. I mean, this is pretty much not even up in practical terms. In actual, quantitative terms, it's up 0.1%. But that's much of the same story in 2024 when we take a look at February 2024, where the average was $1,443,000. Once again, that was a 6.8% increase month over month, so a healthy increase. But once again, and even in February 2024, the average sold price of $1,443,000 was up 0.2%. Once again, in practical terms, nothing really, but in actual mathematical terms, up. So no question about it, detached homes have been the most resilient, even showing in mathematical terms an increase year over year. But whereas in practical everyday terms, as a Toronto real estate agent actively working on the behalf of buyers and sellers Yes, even for freehold detached homes, even though I don't really talk about it much in this channel, I can confidently tell you the market has been pretty flush. It's still nowhere near the peak market, obviously, and every neighborhood, every community has its own specific trends, but generally speaking, it's been pretty resilient. The numbers speak for themselves. Whereas condos on the other hand, not so much. Condos have been experiencing seasonality, but on a year-over-year basis, they keep coming in 1%, 2% down, at least when we take a look at February. Other months may differ. Summer months, I think the depths, the lows of the summer months keep getting lower and lower. And on the reverse side of things, and this is something any client who listens to me when I speak has heard me say many times, on the flip side of things, the peaks of the springs have been getting duller and duller, but it's still peaking in the spring. It's still picking up in the spring. I think condos can also go to explain a big figure that just came out as part of the most recent figures, which is a 70% active inventory. That's correct. Get a hold of this. As we see, active listings came in at 19,000, nearly 20,000 active listings, which was a 76% increase from the 11,000 figure in 2024. That's a lot. You don't need me to say that's a lot. That's obviously a lot. And that is heavily contributing to the buyer-friendly conditions that exist. Those are general figures, right? That's for every property type, all areas, but I haven't ran the numbers, but from my intuition and gut feeling and what I see every day on the ground as a Toronto and GTA realtor working with buyers and sellers, I can tell you a lot of that 19,000 active inventory, active listings can be contributed to condos. Not to say there isn't a oversupply in certain areas for freehold detached homes or freehold townhomes or semi-detached homes. There certainly is, but condos are the main thrust of that. And it's really hard to predict the future. I always shy away from it. I have to make it very clear, and I've had to give this speech several times to clients on the phone. If you are looking for a real estate agent to predict the future, tell you when the right time is to buy, tell you when to not buy, tell you when to sell, tell you when not to sell, I am not the realtor for you. I do probably 20 things quite well, but one of them is not helping you time anything. I always shy away from that. And this is all to just say, though, that I would not be surprised if this downward trend kind of picks back up in the summer. But there is an interest rate cut coming March 12th. And really, thus far, when it comes to condos specifically, we have seen interest rate cuts mostly have a preemptive impact. Leading up to the rate cut, I've seen stuff kind of pick up, but after the cut, it's kind of just like business as usual, and it hasn't really assisted condos all that much. But anyways, as always, let me know if you have any further questions in the comments. That's your quick market report for today.